Guys, this is a tutorial on how to play the Pokemon TCG. So each player starts with a 60 card deck. Count your cards. So to make sure it's exactly 60 cards. No less, no more. Actually no more, no less. And then you call the coin flip. So since your opponent chose tails and you chose heads, if it's heads, since it's your call. If you win the bet, if you won the coin flip, then you get to choose who goes first. Heads. And since you won the coin flip, you can choose who goes first. You let your opponent go first. I'll tell you the reason why. So, next, each player draws 7 cards from their deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your opponent also draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards from their deck. And your opponent goes first. But wait! Looks like your opponent doesn't have any basic Pokemon. If it's like this, your opponent must show his hand to you, but before that, we're going to discuss about this. We're going to put a basic Pokemon. Actually, it would be in turn order, so your opponent puts the active Pokemon first, and then you, and then your opponent puts the bench, and then the bench, since your opponent goes first. So you put your basic Pokemon face down, and since you don't have any basic Pokemon, that you're done. You don't put your Pokemon on the bench. And take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw 6 cards and put them in the prize cards. So, without looking at them, you're not even allowed to have a glimpse. So, yeah, your opponent shows their hand to you, and then they shuffle their deck again. And they draw 7 new cards. By the way, they still have to place the thing in their deck zone. So, look like your opponent still doesn't have any basic Pokemon. So, by the way, since he did a mulligan, that process is called a mulligan, by the way. So, since he did a mulligan, you get to draw a card. And since he doesn't have any other basic Pokemon, still doesn't have any basic Pokemon, he shows his hand, shuffle 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and draw 7 new cards. And that was 2 mulligans. So you drew another card. And finally, your opponent has basic Pokemon. So your opponent puts it there. And then after that, looks like you got 2 basic Pokemon. 2 more basic Pokemon from your opponent's mulligans. So you put them in the bench. Both of them. I'm just gonna move it. Okay. So you put both of them in the bench, right? And then since you're done putting them in the bench, your opponent puts them. So, by the way, basic Pokemon have the word basic in this. So your opponent puts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. 5 bench Pokemon. By the way, the maximum number of bench Pokemon you may have is 5. Unless if there's a stadium card that says you can have more or less than 5. So, and then your opponent takes 6 cards. 5, 6. 6 cards. Without seeing them. And then put them in their prize cards. So, not even one player is allowed to see the prize cards. Okay, now since we're done with the the preparing, let's battle.